everyone, welcome to the channel. We are going to understand the summary of Oscar Wilde's classic novel, The Picture of Dorian Gray. The story begins in the art studio of Basil Hallward, where Basil has made a portrait of an extraordinarily handsome young man, Dorian Gray. Basil discusses the portrait with his witty and amoral friend Lord Henry Wotton. Henry thinks that this painting should be displayed, on which Basil disagrees. In the meantime, Dorian arrives and he is fascinated by Henry's views about life, that life should be lived to the fullest, by indulging into one's impulses. He also tells that beauty and youth should be everlasting. If beauty and youth fades away, then it will make you ugly. Dorian, on the influence of Henry, declared that he will give his soul to the portrait so that he will look like a portrait, young and beautiful, and the portrait will grow older. He takes the portrait from Basil on this condition. Henry starts molding Dorian's personality. A few weeks later, Dorian tells Henry and Basil that he has fallen in love with an actress, Sybil Vane, because of her great beauty and acting talent. They both go with him to a gloomy theatre to see Sybil, but her performance is terrible, because of which Dorian feels embarrassed, but Sybil explains to Dorian that now that she knows what real love is, she can no longer pretend to be in love on stage. Dorian is repulsed and wants nothing further to do with her. When he returns home, he sees a cruel expression on the face of his portrait, and he decides to seek Sybil's forgiveness. Henry arrives the next day, however, with news that Sybil committed suicide the previous night, and he convinces Dorian that there is no reason for him to feel bad about it. Henry sends a book to Dorian. Under the book's influence, Dorian spends the next 18 years in the pursuit of impulsive and excessive sensuous luxury, and he becomes increasingly drawn towards evil. He frequently visits the portrait, noting the signs of aging and of corruption that appear, though he himself remains unblemished. Dorian becomes so violent day by day that when one day Basil tells him that there are rumors that he has destroyed the lives and reputations of many people, and a suddenly enraged Dorian murders Basil. Dorian seeks for his former friend's help into disposing of the body. Dorian goes to an opium den where Sybil's vengeful brother James finds him. Suddenly Dorian accidentally shoots him. After some weeks, Dorian decides to transform him into a virtuous personality. So he goes to see the condition of the portrait. He sees rather it has acquired a look of cunning. He decides to destroy the portrait and stabs it with a knife. His servants hear a scream, and when they arrive, they see a disgusted old man dead on the floor with a knife in his chest, and a portrait of the beautiful young man he once was.